Hey guys, I'm the Burke and I do things, and today's video is going to be a video in a series I haven't filmed in a while. I've filmed 2 videos like this before and I called them my Storytime Roulettes. Essentially, I have a note app on my phone that I've been compiling random stories that pop into my head like over the last year or so. Anytime like I think of something like, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, I add it to this list. And then I let a number generator, as I'm doing my makeup in these videos, just choose a story. Some of them are short little blurbs of my life, some of them are a little bit longer. Usually they're pretty silly and ridiculous. I don't really talk about the makeup that I'm doing in my video, so if you are wondering what I'm wearing, I can link it down in the description box. I also forget a lot of these stories that I've written on the list, so I don't even remember half the things that are listed. So if you guys like this video and like videos like this, I will link my entire playlist of the 2 videos that exist right now up in the cards. And yeah, let's go. So I have currently 61 stories in the note. So the first number we're going to generate is number 47. Oh, you know what's so funny? I mean, this is funny because I just talked about this recently in a video and I didn't know that I had it on here as on my list. But my mom was kind of into makeup a lot. Well, I shouldn't say my mom was into makeup before me, because obviously by default, she, I guess, is kind of one of the reasons I got into makeup, because I would take her makeup as a kid. But it was just that she did my makeup for prom, which I really did recently speak about in a video. Which video? Oh, it was I was talking about makeup brands that my favorite makeup brand. And I said I've been wearing Bare Minerals because my mom did my makeup for my prom from Bare Minerals. And she actually did my high school best friend's makeup for the prom too. This is a terrible first story because all I did was do my primer, and I'm already I already talked about this recently. So yeah, my mom did my makeup for prom. Hashtag go Bare Minerals. Okay, that was a really bad one. Let's do something a little bit more exciting this time. Number 1. Oh gosh. This is called The Time I Ran Away from the Police. This story is like the epitome of how young, naive, and innocent I truly was as a teenager. It was actually the same friend's 17th birthday. It was probably a month before we started our senior year of high school. And me and our other friend wanted to take her out for her birthday. And we thought it would be hilarious to take her to Hooters. Like, we thought that was the funniest thing in the world, like going to Hooters for her birthday. But we were very strange, eccentric teenagers, I guess you could say. We would get, I should start by saying, all 3 of us had the same name. We all were named Rachel. And we used to really take that and run. And we would make these shirts whenever we would get together for occasions, and this is so dumb. This is literally how I was in high school. We would call it Rachel Fest or Rachel Jubilation or Rachel Palooza. So stupid. Oh man, yeah, this is all real things that happened. Anyway, this specific one I'm pretty sure was Rachel Jubilation. So we had these ridiculous matching shirts that we had handmade that said Rachel Jubilation. And we surprised our friend by inviting these guys that I think they met at some Jewish retreat. I don't really know. I'm pretty sure we were 17 and I want to say these guys were 19, so they were out of high school. But we thought we were so cool for surprising her with these random guys at a Hooters for her 17th birthday, wearing our ridiculous shirts. And don't worry, we also bought beads, and we wore beads. Think Mardi Gras. We were wearing Mardi Gras bead necklaces at Hooters. But we weren't associating it with Mardi Gras. We were just look, fun beads. This is so embarrassing. Anyway, the food was fine. We had time to kill before we went home that night. And it was oh man, what can we do as teenagers late at night? And I guess my friend, I don't remember how it came to, oh, I want to go on swings and go to the playground. So we were okay, let's go to the swings that are near our house, which the ones that we would normally go to are at the local elementary school, which I didn't think anything of. I truly thought nothing of going to the elementary school after dark with guys. And I cannot emphasize enough how innocent of a hangout this was. And we were not doing anything except laughing on the swing set, which I'm sure someone was like, what the heck are teenagers doing on the elementary school playground after dark? And someone must have called the cops, or a cop car pulled into the parking lot and saw our cars parked there. Because all of a sudden, from like a distance, we see flashlights and we're like, oh my God, someone called the cops. We need to get to the cars. So we ran to the cars, except the cops thought we were doing something illegal and ran to their car first and like ran and like basically cut us off in their car, shining lights at us, and like got out of their cars. And they were like, this is a very like, I'm pretty sure this is how it happened version. They got out of their cars and they were like, what are you guys doing here? And we were like, we just wanted to go on the swings. And they looked at our beads and they were like, well, how did you get those beads? How old are they? And like, they are technically 19 and we're 17, so they're adults. We're not. We have these Mardi Gras beads. Oh my God. I don't even know if my parents know that story. Mom, are you watching this? Anyway, I was a very good kid in high school. So running from the cops at the playground was my wild story in my matching Rachel shirts. Let's draw another story. 19. This is called The Story of Daisy. Daisy was a very ugly dog that my parents had, but how Daisy came to be is a weird story. Well, both weird and sad. So where I went to school, I was in 9th grade in junior high school. We had this club, I guess you could call it. It was called Tarte, T-A-D-A, Teens Against Drugs and Alcohol. Honestly, the idea of the club was a great idea. It was a club where there were pre-planned activities for Friday nights to like keep the teens off the streets. And usually it was really fun stuff and we all really liked being in it. I will say most people in that club that were like the teacher's pets were not adhering to the Tarte rules, let's put it that way. This girl was, but some of those kids were not. Anyway, one night I was at one of these events and I think it was maybe one of like the game events where like you were on like teams and you were competing, I don't know. Anyway, all I know is it was a stormy night. I remember that much. So I wasn't there for the hoopla that is about to happen, but my family, I guess, were they at my grandparents' house? That's what I don't really remember. It's a little foggy, but I think my family was at my grandparents' house, and my grandparents actually literally basically live around the corner from my parents. So they were really close to home, but they were at my grandparents' house. And somehow something happened where someone, I'm pretty sure, I should context. My grandparents' house is like a corner street. So like they have the corner property and there's like kind of a smaller road that they live on, but the side road, it's not like a main road, but it's a busier road. Someone had left a mattress next to their property, like off the main bigger road, and put 3 dogs on this mattress. And it was like a thunder and lightning storm. And I don't know what happened, but I'm pretty sure my family somehow started chasing these dogs around trying to catch them. It was a Pekingese male, pretty sure, a Yorkie female, and then the daughter of the two. So she was like a porky? I don't know what you call her. Daisy was the porky. I promise I will insert a picture of Daisy right now so you can get an idea of what Daisy looked like. I don't know what happened, but I mean, obviously they were wet dogs at this point. Somehow my parents wound up bringing them to our house, but we had a dog already and I think we had cats still at this point. We definitely had a dog and he was a Labrador Husky mix, so he was big, and these were 3 pretty small dogs, and they're wet dogs, and like we don't know where they had been. And it was just so sad because they all had collars, so we knew their names. The dad was Beethoven, the mom was Dolly, and the daughter of these 2 was Daisy. They all had like collars with their names on them, but if you turn the collars over, the address with all the information had been like scratched out so they couldn't be like returned to their homes. So basically my parents wound up taking the 3 dogs. So now at this point, I come home from this event and there are 4 dogs in our house and it smelled terrible. The entire house smelled like wet dog. It was really nasty. I mean, and basically the story of Daisy is, I mean, she outlived the parents, obviously. She was a strange dog. She made very strange noises. She very much resembled Chewbacca, both sight-wise and noises-wise. My parents wound up not keeping all three. The dad, Beethoven, had health issues, and actually my cousins wound up taking Beethoven and giving him a home. Dolly only lived for a couple years. I'm trying to think. I think Dolly may have passed away after a year or two, because she got really sick, and my parents like did all these tests and everything trying to save her, and there was nothing to do. She passed away. But Daisy lived forever, and she was quite the interesting animal. My dad loved Daisy very much. The fact that somebody like did that to those dogs to this day still makes me so angry. Can you believe that? And like the side of the road in a storm on a pretty busy street that's not well lit at all. Like, what is wrong with people? And yeah, that's the story of Daisy. All right, let's pick another story. 3. The first time I ever tried beer. Okay. I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. Dang, if my mom's watching this. Hi, Mom. I went on a trip to Europe when I was 16, and the trip went to France, Germany, and Austria. And it was a dry trip. There was not supposed to be any drinking. However, we did have the freedom to go out and about shopping, and there were kids on the trip that caused a lot of trouble with drinking. So the group of people I was with were very trusted because we were seen as like the goody two-shoes of the trip. So we definitely got alcohol. Not much. I remember like we had like a can of beer that we shared. And when I say shared, I took a sip and I was like, so that was that. And I think the next night we were like, let's get something that tastes better. So we had some sort of like, I think it was like a spritzer. It was like in this glass bottle. And I remember the nurse on the trip, we were trying to open it. We didn't have a bottle opener. And the one roommate was trying to smash the lid on the windowsill, trying to open it. But she was like hanging out the window, because out the window there was like a little patio. But to get to the patio, you had to like go out the window. I don't know, she was hanging out. And I just remember the nurse came and visited us to say like how much she appreciated how good we were being. Meanwhile, the girl is hanging out the window with alcohol in her hand, trying to hide the alcohol. But yeah, first time I tried alcohol, I'm pretty sure, if I'm like thinking of the room we were in, I really think we were in Austria. I feel like that was Austria when I tried the beer. The trip's kind of a blur because it was so long ago. But yeah, the first time I tried beer, I was outside of the US where I could legally buy it and drink it. I just wasn't supposed to because of the trip I was on. I probably signed some sort of waiver that I wouldn't drink. All right, what's the next? 14. How I started drinking coffee, as I'm drinking a cold brew right now. Well, I was not a coffee drinker for a very, very long time. And then my junior year of college, around Thanksgiving, I got mono, which was terrible. And if you're familiar with like a college semester, not long after Thanksgiving is when finals for the year happen, and then you kind of go home for a month. Well, what was I supposed to do about finals if I had mono, you know, kind of kicking me down? I think I missed about a week of being at school, and then I went back to my apartment and I was like, I'm not failing this semester because I have mono. I'm going to be taking these finals. And I couldn't stay awake. Mono makes you so tired. So my roommate was like, well, you got to start drinking coffee. You need like caffeine. And I was like, but I hate coffee. It's so gross. And she goes, well, let me make you hot chocolate and give you a half hot chocolate, half coffee like combination, and we'll try that out. Well, that did me dirty. For at least 2 years, I drank like hot chocolate coffee to like survive college, because I did 5 years of undergrad, and it took me a long time to get where I am, but here I am today. Black coffee, not sweet at all. But if it wasn't for mono, I do wonder if I would have become the coffee drinker I am today, because I really had no interest until I was like, I'm not failing a semester of college because I got mono, and I was very determined to be awake. And now I drink coffee 24/7. 25. Oh my gosh. I don't think I told you guys this story, that I was taken off of our health insurance plan the day before my C-section. This is a story. Scott and I got married when I was pregnant, And the plan was for me in the new year to join his health insurance plan because we knew I was going to leave my job and his health insurance had the same coverage as my current health insurance as far as prenatal care and such. Oh my God, my camera just started overheating. I'll be back. Let's see if I can remember where I left off, but basically we had contacted Scott's insurance company and said, hey, this is the deal. When should we expect to switch her over? Because my due date was kind of early January. So I was concerned with the idea of what happens if I have this baby, you know, December 30th, but I'm not checked out of the hospital until like January. And that's like 2 different years. That's 2 different insurance plans. Like I didn't understand what to do. So we wanted to talk to the insurance company and find out like, what do we do to avoid like this potential issue coming about? And they said, well, since you had like a life change or something this year, you can just add her on in 2020 and she's just will be on your insurance. And we said, okay. So we did that. And we basically got the 2-person plan, whatever that was. That was, I think, in November. As we enter December, I say, you know what? Let's figure out what we have to do about like contacting the pediatrician, adding the baby to the insurance plan. Let's call the insurance company again and find out like what steps we need to do to add the baby. And they were like, well, you can't add them to your plan. You're not on a family plan. And we were like, well, we're not a family yet. And they said, it doesn't matter. You can still be on a family plan. The person who originally did this basically should have had you guys do the family plan because then all you have to do is add the person instead of updating your entire plan information. And we were like, okay. So we do that. And now we're on a family plan. I think at this point, it's like December 20th time frame, sometime around there, right before Christmas. You know, been going to my appointments. I've changed my insurance through my doctor. Everything should be going well, except, of course it doesn't. I go in for my C-section. They have my insurance information and everything, and we have the baby. And then I want to say it was when she was 2 days old. I said, okay, let's call the insurance company, add her onto the insurance. And then, you know, we can schedule her an appointment with her pediatrician. What we found out was that Scott called and was like, you are an individual. You don't have anyone on your health insurance plan. You're an individual. We see that on the day before the C-section. So at this point, it's 3 days ago. You switched to a single plan. So you don't have anyone on your health insurance. So I went through a C-section surgery uninsured at this point. To say I freaked out would be the understatement of the year. I lost it. I was contacting people at the hospital being like, what am I supposed to do? I was on his insurance plan. Everything was going fine. I even like on the day of the surgery, they like confirmed my health insurance information with me. And then it was like, no insurance for me. Ooh, I was so mad. Apparently someone just like went in and like changed Scott's health insurance plan. Like I was on the family plan and for some reason someone switched him back to a single for no literal reason. And it took a few days to get this all sorted out and get it corrected from what I remember. And I was livid. I was like, I am not paying for this surgery when I had health insurance. I was on the health insurance. We went through this whole ordeal for the last 2 months, continually making sure she's on the health insurance, right? She's on the health insurance, just checking to make sure she's on the health insurance. Like, do you know how scary it is to be told you just had surgery and oops, by the way, your insurance company took you off the insurance? Thankfully, they were able to retroactively go in and correct it. But I was like, everything I had been like panicking about wound up happening. And it's like, this was not great for my anxiety, which is always like going through all the potential possibilities of things that could go wrong. Health insurance company just pulling me off was not on my list of things to be concerned about. Didn't know that was an option. So that was very stressful during a very stressful already time of my life. I'm going to say we have time for one more story between what I have left to do. Let's see what we get. 47. We already did 47, right? That was the first one, I'm pretty sure. Number 5. Oh my gosh, this is called the first DVD I ever owned. This might seem like a really weird thing to remember, but I remember because it's very silly. We got our first DVD player when I was in 8th grade, I'm pretty sure. And my parents, I think they gave it to me and my siblings as like a Hanukkah gift. I want to say we got it for. And they gave us, I'm pretty sure it was just one DVD that we got. And it was the best of American Idol season 1. And I watched that DVD pretty often. It was just like, I feel like it was like some of the performances that were like really good with like Kelly Clarkson and stuff. But then it was like a lot of bloopers from the auditions. I was very invested, I think maybe in the first 2 seasons of American Idol. Then I kind of fell off after. But yeah, the first DVD I ever owned was the best of season 1 American Idol. And now I have a box of DVDs and a DVD player that I can't use because we lost the remote. I have no idea what to do with all our DVDs. But there you have it. Those were the stories of the day. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really never know where these videos are going. Today's had some interesting choices of stories. I'm just a weird person with a weird life. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know, do you guys like these Storytime roulettes? They are very silly to film on my end. I am about to go film another declutter. And as usual, thanks for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, click the subscribe button and ring that bell for notifications. I have my Instagram down below. Give it a follow, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!